If you are also confused about TMJ treatments, this episode is for you. Hello friends, today I want to bring clarity to TMJ treatments, not by listing the options, but by explaining how to think about them in the first place. Normally, the first thing that comes in notice of the patient is when they start hearing clicking or popping sounds from the jaw. Clicking, popping, or grinding noises means that something is changing. But they are not by themselves a disease. Unfortunately, TMJ is not treated just because the jaw makes sounds. Moreover, as of today, there is no treatment that can guarantee that these sounds will completely disappear. Good news? Most people adapt to these sounds very well with little awareness and physical self-regulation tips and tricks that your TMJ dentist can help you with. TMJ treatment fully begins when there are symptoms. Symptoms such as pain in the jaw and nearby structures, restricted in opening and closing the mouth, functional difficulty while chewing, eating, swallowing, pain that affects your daily life basically. Now, once a patient comes to us with pain and related symptoms, we need to make sure of the primary factor involved in the problem. Sometimes the jaw itself is the primary problem, but very often the jaw becomes the secondary victim of other stressors in the body. This is why understanding the root cause is more important than choosing the type of treatment. So if we miss the root cause, even the best treatment may give only temporary relief. With that principle in mind, now let me explain how I approach TMJ care in my clinic. When treatment is needed, I always start with a reversible, non-invasive support. This includes custom TMJ splints that supports the joint and muscles, along with physical therapies like myofunctional therapy, myofascial release, and TENS therapy. This calms down the pain system, reduces the load, and gives the body a chance to reset. Meanwhile, we get the time to understand the complex part, the root cause. And for most patients, this approach is more than enough to bring them that relief that they are seeking from long time. Then there are other cases where the jaw joint itself is inflamed with significant pain, restricted mouth opening, chronic blocking of the jaw. In such situations, minimally invasive procedures like arthrocentesis greatly helps, but only when the inflammation in the jaw is clearly involved, and always alongside the rehabilitation with splints and physical therapy. Beyond this, there are other options like trigger point injections or Botox. I personally view these as temporary pain relief measures, not solutions. They may reduce symptoms for some time, but they do not address why the jaw is overloaded. Similarly, techniques like DTR, disocclusion time reduction therapy, can reduce dynamic loading on biting and give quick relief in the jaw pain, but unless the reason for clenching or grinding is addressed, symptoms often return. So you have to go for the sessions n number of times, which are often very expensive. Lastly, coming to irreversible treatments and surgery. So, irreversible splints or 24/7 splints, which are they normally called as, they may help some patients and this cannot be denied. But because they permanently change the bite and can create dependency, they must be approached with caution. They belong only after conservative care has truly failed and only with full understanding of the implications that they can bring. Surgery is the absolute last step, reserved for clear structural problems like cysts, tumors, structural deformities in the jaw area, osteoarthritis where the joint is ankylosed, etc. And this brings us back to the core idea. TMJ treatments support the jaw. They do not always treat the cause. So if posture is driving the problem, posture must be corrected. If sleep is disturbed, treating the jaw alone will not fix the sleep. If stress, central sensitization, fibromyalgia, gut issues, or myofunctional imbalance or bite issues are involved, then those must be addressed. This is why some people feel better with a splint and then feel that the pain returns once the splint is removed. So the support with the splint worked, but the driver, the root cause, did not change, and hence the relapse happened. So if I have to summarize my approach in one line, it would be this: that TMJ care works best when we calm the jaw, identify the driver, and treat the bed, and often in correct order. Not aggressively, but conservatively. This brings us to the end of this season of TMJ care. If these conversations have helped you understand your jaw and your body a little better, then this podcast has done its job. Wishing you all a very happy and prosperous new year. I'm Dr. Mansi Davisar. Thank you for listening.